Good day, Amherstburg. It's myself, Laura D'Alessandro.
And it's Ron Joffe from the Rivertown Times, back on the airwaves of 107.9 CKBG The Berg for the Rivertown Times Week in Review. Brought to you by the Hearing and Dizziness Clinic, located at 285 Sandwich Street South in Amherstburg, or also find us in LaSalle, Essex, and Windsor. For more information or to book an appointment, visit us online at youhear.ca. The Hearing and Dizziness Clinic.
New week, and do you feel any older?
Yeah, I would
You
say
look
so.
it.
I know, yeah.
Considerably, actually, from last week to this week.
Exactly, I'm aging rapidly.
The opposite of Benjamin Button. Weather has changed again. Last week we were pulling out the shorts and short sleeve shirts, and now we're back into coats, and there's been some white stuff flying around. So I don't know. Mother Nature's not done with us yet, I don't think.
No, I won't be putting my winter coat away just yet and breaking out the spring attire. Still got the winter coat on, still dressing in layers.
But the days are getting longer.
Yeah, exactly. You don't go outside at 6 o'clock in the darkness, so yeah, there's actually still light for a lot longer. And it's the time has changed, and the days are getting longer. So if you haven't put your clocks ahead by now, you might want to start.
Yeah, you've been late for a lot of things.
Exactly.
Turning our attention to the paper, a walkout at North Star High School was held last Thursday. The students were protesting the recent changes to post-secondary education, specifically the changes to the OSAP funding.
They were concerned about affordability and being able to afford a post-secondary education. Yeah, so quite a few of them gathered right in front of Town Hall. I mean, obviously it's not a town matter, OSAP, but they picked that place for visibility right on the main street, so they walked over from the school and gathered in front of Town Hall. So we got a full story on page 1 of this week's RTT, including information put out by the province. So we tried to make it a balanced story, but yeah, there's definitely some concerns from the student body at North Star, and from what I gather, a lot of other schools as well. North Star didn't act in isolation, so they had a protest out in front, and frankly, I was surprised. I put it on social media, and a lot of people responded to it on both sides of the issue, and so now it's on the website, the full story, and in the paper on page 1. So check it out on www.rivertowntimes.com, and you can also read it when the print edition gets stocked up. So at the stores and in the newspaper boxes. So yeah, it was quite the event, and got to talk quite a bit with the students who helped organize it. And they're, like I said, quite concerned about the affordability of education, even when they'll be able to afford getting a place of their own when they get a little bit older. So check it all out, page 1 of this week's RTT.
Recapping a few things from last week's town council meeting, there was a rather lengthy discussion regarding the former General Amherst building and its fate as to becoming a heritage designation. There was the debate regarding a local business site on Sandwich Street, and a recent phone call had by a member of town council. It sparked some conversation regarding the nature of that phone call.
The property at 130 Sandwich Street South, commonly known and fondly remembered as the former General Amherst High School, now owned by the Valente Development Corporation, and they spoke against the heritage designation and saying that basically the facades are falling apart and there's really not a whole lot of architectural value there. It's kind of reminiscent of a lot of schools built in that period. And then there's others that say, hey, you know what, it's a piece of history, we need to preserve it. So lengthy debate at the most recent town council meeting, but the end result being, they're going to talk about it again next month. The issue was deferred until April 13th, and so we'll see where they go with it. And both sides of every issue, some people would like to see it designated. Other people are saying, hey, you know what, we're holding up development here. Council will have yet another debate on it, and we'll see where it goes after that. On the other issues, I know the issue of Amanda Kerr Fitness came up and about her sign, and we did a story on that a couple of weeks ago, and now there's a follow-up piece. Councillor Lyndon Crane brought it up and tried to get a report on the matter, and council basically said, we have a bylaw in place. People have to comply with the rules. Like rules are set forward, and if it's not on the business sign, is not on the business property. It doesn't belong there. That's basically the thought of some of the members of town council. So we got a complete story on that on page 3 of this week's RTT and on the web. In the end, the report will not be coming forward, and Amanda will most likely not be attending council on the matter because according to the procedural bylaw, there has to be a report on the agenda for a person to have the ability to speak to it. So it doesn't appear that this issue is going any forward. In fact, saw on social media she's actually now taking her sign down. So I mean, it's one of those issues, again, where there's two sides to every story, and This was right next to where she's located. She's at 111 Sandwich Street South, and the sign is just on an adjacent property, but technically it's not on the same property as her business. So therein lies the issue, and therein lies the debate. And getting back to Councillor Crane, of course, he was had a phone call with Premier Doug Ford, and people are saying, why is the Premier talking to a councillor, not the mayor, and kind of what happened here, and there's some concern about that, and that was a subject of at the most recent meeting of Amherstburg Town Council. Again, we have another story on that on our website and on the web, so make sure you check it all out, and lots to read in this week's RTT. So those are 3 of the stories, and we talked quite a bit on all 3 in this week's issue of the Rivertown Times. So, we hope you pick it up, have a read, and I'd like to think we went a little bit more in depth. So there's lots to read and lots to digest in this week's RTT, so pick it up or read it on the web.
And no town council till April 13th, correct?
I'm not exactly sure why. I got to find that out. But there's...
You needed a break, that's why.
Well, I
spoke to the mayor.
I'd like to think I have that kind of stroke at town hall, but I somehow doubt that. But no, it's...
that's like a month.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what exactly is happening. Maybe members
Easter, maybe? Easter Monday? I don't know.
Easter's coming up, yeah, and there's usually they have 2 per month. Normally there'd be a meeting next Monday, and
nothing.
No, so
it's your birthday. They figured give Ron a break.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, kind of take the rest of the month off. So I'd like to think that's the reason, but
let's
it's
just
not.
Go with it.
Yeah, sure.
The plan to reduce the number of conservation areas is going forward, with 36 conservation areas being reduced down to only 9.
And that should be taking effect likely in and around the February 2027 mark.
That sounds so far away, but
it's
really not.
Yeah, so $3 million is going towards the smooth transition this year, and eventually that's going towards projects in future years. And I know the folks at IRCA are none too pleased about it. They were hoping for something a little bit different. I know I talked to Molly Allaire, of course, the Amherstburg councillor and IRCA chair, and I think she went into it thinking there's going to be 19 conservation areas, but it's 9. And that's
still more than they originally projected.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 7 according to the original proposal. Now it's 9. So they're going ahead with it. And we got the full story on page 5 of this week's issue of the RTT. So again, I've talked to Molly, and I got some quotes from her and from the IRCA point of view. And again, I referenced, and the province issued its own statement and a full statement from the Minister of Environment. So check that out in this week's issue of the Rivertown Times. Again, both in print and on the web.
What do you know what area we will be part of? Like, I know in the earlier talks it would be from here to Kingdom Come. But it's a smaller section now.
Yeah, it is a bit smaller. I believe I don't have the map in front of me, but I believe it's closer to the London area. See Western Lake Erie Conservation Area. And again, more details in this week's RTT and on rivertowntimes.com.
The Heritage Committee met last Thursday with plans for a 4-story apartment building at the area of 261 Wolf Street. Was presented to the committee that night.
And they went over kind of heritage elements that they talked about. It's a modern construction. As you can see, we have the rendering in this week's RTT. So make sure you pick that up and take a look. It somewhat resembles, not identical to the St. John's apartments right at the corner of Brock and Richmond, but...
Is it as high?
I believe so. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's about 4 stories, as you said, for this proposed development, and it's right next to the lofts at St. Anthony, which is a more historic-looking structure, and it should be because it's been there a very long time. It's the former St. Anthony School, the former House of Shalom Youth Center, and now it's the Lofts condominium unit. And so we got a story on this week's RTT, and so make sure you check that out. And for more details, I know there was at least one resident hoping to speak that night, and procedurally was not permitted to speak, and so the door is open for him to go back before council, because this issue will be coming before town council at a future meeting. So we're not done with this issue just yet, and check it out where we are so far in this week's Rivertown Times.
Students at St. Thomas of Villanova High School helped out those in need last week by collecting and donating hygiene items to the Second Chance Ministry.
That also includes like sheets and other products as well. A lot of media turned out for, I believe it was last Thursday morning. We all gathered at St. Thomas of Villanova, where the religion students there did a fantastic job in raising all these items. And it's just like they filled the truck pretty much of all these products. And I know the folks at Second Chance Ministry were quite pleased. And as they should be. I mean, again, it took 5 or 10 minutes for the team of students to come out the back door, one of the back doors to the school. and stock of a truck at the rear of the building. Again, it all goes to Second Chance Ministry. They're predominantly in Windsor, but they do have some coverage here in the county. They do appreciate the support from all over the region. And again, big shout out to the fine folks at St. Thomas of Villanova Catholic High School. They did a great job. And again, full coverage of that on the web and in this week's print edition.
Turning your attention to sports, and I hate to say it, but the Admirals have wrapped up their 25-26 season after losing the semifinals 4-1 to the Essex 73s. I feel like we have said this several times before.
Yeah,
this is how it ends most years.
The 73s have had a great season, and while they're having a great season, it's still going. And they advanced to the finals last Friday night with a 6-2 win over the Admirals, and they won 6-2 here a couple nights earlier. I think it was the day before on the 12th, on the Thursday night.
Yeah, the game that you and I were at.
Yeah, so I must say it was kind of weird watching it from the stands. Usually when I've covered the team, it's on ringside taking photos, but this year it was up in the seats, so it was kind of a different angle for me. But so last Thursday night at the Libro Center, they lost 6-2, and Game 5 the next night in Essex, they lost again 6-2. So that ended the series and ended the Admiral season. So, but again, they worked very hard. They tried hard, and
it was a good game.
Yeah, no shame to losing to the 73s.
Yeah.
Again, they're a very strong program, and as it turned out, it was the last game for much of the coaching staff. They're moving on to, I believe it's the Sun County Panthers. They're coaching a team there next season. So the Admirals will have a new coaching staff for next year. And too bad their season ended a little bit earlier than they would have hoped. But again, no shame in losing to the 73s. Again, strong team. They were in the finals. As we found out last night, they will be playing the Lakeshore Canadians again this year. Lakeshore and Blenheim went to Game 7 of that series. Blenheim had a chance Sunday night to close it out on home ice, but Lakeshore won Game 6 3-1, and that forced last night's Game 7 out in Lakeshore, and the Canadians held on to win that 3-2. They had a 2-0 lead after 2 periods, and Blenheim didn't give up, but they couldn't quite catch up. And then they ended up losing the game by a final score of 3-2. And I'm not sure when the finals start, but again, it will be Essex versus Lakeshore for the Staubs Division Final and a chance to play for the Schmalz Cup. And whoever wins this will advance again with a division title in their pocket.
I remember back in the day when my little one, Luca, was, well, he's not little anymore. When he was little, we would go to Admirals games and you would be covering them and we'd play Spot Ron. It was like a Where's Waldo of Where's Ron. Yeah. One end of the ice, the other end of the ice, talking to somebody behind the bench. But it was nice to have you in the stands sitting next to us.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was just caught the third period. And yeah, it was nice, like I say, just watch it from a different perspective this time around. I know Fred was at the game covering it. But yeah, it was kind of neat to sit in the stands and watch.
Better news for the U21 Lake Erie North Stars. They're heading to the OMHA finals.
Yeah, they're having a great year, and they that great year continued over the weekend. They advanced in the playoffs and are heading to the OMHAs. And I know they got there last year, but didn't have a lot of success once they got there. They're hoping to right the ship, so to speak, and come back for the title. But, I mean, just getting there is a triumph in and of itself. You know, Coach Dennis Emerson does a great job with that program, and that's repeating itself this year. Best of luck to the North Stars, and as they go on to the OMHA championships, again, hopefully they come back with a red hat. That's the
key. That's
the big goal of the OMHA. That's one of the prizes you get. That's kind of the tradition. You get a nice red hat.
Like the silver stick.
Kind of like that, yeah. So best of luck to Lake Erie North Stars, and yet another great year for that program under Coach Dennis Emerson, and hopefully they do well.
Friday Night Live was last Friday. Terrence, I heard it was so well, you put the lights out.
It was a lights out performance.
Yeah, you can't predict power outs. Yeah, what an interesting evening. Up until that point, it was going full blast, and it was just after the...
Was it just after you sang Happy Birthday to Ron? Enough of this. Cut the lights.
Yeah, we managed to get that in. That was very important. And then we had an intermission, and then this fantastic young guy, 16-year-old Jackson, was playing the piano. Really talented guy, and then everything went black and we were just plunged into darkness. But apart from that, it was great. And there was one group, which was Musicland...
Trio 59, isn't
Trio
it?
59
and Friends, I think it was
called.
called.
Thanks, Ron. And they spent a lot of time setting up their equipment and all of that sort of stuff. So we felt bad that they couldn't actually perform. They were the last act. And so we're actually going to do a Musicland special coming up. We haven't got the date exactly for that, probably sometime in May. And so it's going to be all about the Musicland guys.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
I think the next one you should start with This Little Light of Mine. That's how you should open the next show.
Yeah. It's kind of irony. Yeah,
A little bit.
right. Yeah.
Well, if you need help on that Music Land performance night, you can always call on Ron. He
Exactly.
plays the spoons and his armpits
Oh, I look
at the
forward
same
to that.
time.
Yeah, it's quite the scene.
Man of many talents.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed the evening. It was a great night, and just it is on. I'll give a plug to the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church YouTube channel. Search St. Andrew's Amherstburg on YouTube. It'll come up, and you can watch all the videos from this past Friday Night Live and previous Friday Night Lives, and obviously the services themselves. And so if you're watching this past the March 13 show and it gets to the end and it just cuts off suddenly, well, that's when the power outage happened. So, but make sure you check that out there. And it's if you weren't able to make it last Friday, good news. You can still watch it. It's a lot of talent was on stage last Friday night, and I was on stage too.
Well, then,
Yeah,
not so much talent.
There was kind of a bit of a lull during that point. And,
Can you fast forward on YouTube, like through that?
yeah, that's true. Probably, at least when I'm talking, yeah.
Exactly. Looking forward to this week and this weekend. There's going to be a blood donor clinic at the Libro Center. That's from 1 to 6 on Friday. You can go donate some blood and then head to the KSC because Rotary's doing the fish fry with the Columbus Community Hall there. That's from 4:30 to 6:30. Will you be there, Ron? I know you're a Rotarian. Are you going to go help out?
I will go there and help in any way that I can, which is probably clearing plates and
That's what you're good at.
doing stuff like that. Yeah, and just kind of cleaning up and helping out where I can. And
That'll be
yeah,
fun.
4:30 to 6:30 this Friday night.
And they
at the
do
KFC.
take out.
Yeah, they do eat in or take out. So,
So good.
yeah, it's a nice night out, and you have to cook, and
That's right.
you get a nice meal, chicken or fish, of course. It's a fish fry. So obviously there's a fish option in it, and there's the chicken option as well. So come out, enjoy, and support the local Rotary Club.
Just a heads up, it is cash only.
It is, yes.
And there will be a 50-50, I think I read too.
50-50, dessert table. It's come on out, have a good time, and help the Rotary Club.
So you can have fish this Friday, and then next week, you can, on March 27th, the Mission is having their chili dinner. That's from 5 to 8. Adults are 5. Children under 12 are 8. That makes sense. $8, right?
Adults are 15, yes.
What did I say?
You said 5.
Oh, that would have been a great deal.
Yeah.
Don't quote this ad when you go to the Mission.
You do have to, adults do have to pay $5 to get in, but you also have to add $10 to that. So
Yeah, exactly. Oh shoot! It's always good chili though. I would pay whatever Tim charged for his chili. I would pay because it's good chili.
there's mild, spicy, and vegetarian options, and all three are. I've had all three, and all three are great.
They're
so.
delicious. So that's March 27th from 5 to 8, and that is also dine in and take out. You could also just take yours home to enjoy it as you wish.
And yeah, if you want to get your tickets in advance, stop by the Mission. It's at 298 Victoria Street South. Go in, see Violet, or give her a call, 736-9140.
And don't tell her I sent you because I don't want to be quoted wrong for the price. Anything else going on, Ron?
We're just staying on top of everything here in town, and we're gonna just have all sorts of coverage in next week's RTT as usual, and just please keep reading the paper. Our drivers Louise and Ashley are going around the community and stocking up boxes in stores and doing a great job for us. So make sure you pick up your print edition, and if you have trouble getting out, or if it's just too cold for you to get out, you can always read us online as well at rivertowntimes.com.
All right, Ron. Well, that's another week, another Wednesday in the books. So have a good day, Amherstburg.
Have a great day. Have a great week. See you back here next Wednesday on the airwaves of 107.9 FM CKBG The Berg at 12 noon and the replay at 4:30 p.m. Brought to you by the Hearing and Dizziness Clinic, located at 285 Sandwich Street South in Amherstburg, or also find us in LaSalle, Essex, and Windsor. For more information or to book an appointment, visit us online at uhear.ca. The Hearing and Dizziness Clinic.